Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the creative world. My name is Ryan, and in today's video, I'm going to give you guys a quick and dirty tip on dodging and burning. So why do we dodge and burn in the first place? Well, the reason you want to dodge and burn is to add depth to your image. That is, you want to make your 2D image appear to be more three-dimensional. So what do I mean by that? Well, here I have a circle, for example. This is just a flat shaded circle and it looks two-dimensional. But with a little bit of dodging and burning, it now looks three-dimensional. Look at that, it looks like a 3D sphere now. You could tell that there's light hitting the top right corner of this sphere, of this circle, and there's shadow all around it. It appears to now be a ball and not just a flat circle. So this is the concept that you want to apply towards your images of people, if that's what you're shooting. So how did I do this? Let's just delete this dodge and burn that I have here. So we're gonna go ahead and use curves to create our dodge and burn layers. But you can really create any kind of adjustment layer that you want. It could be curves, it could be levels, it could be brightness, it could be exposure. Doesn't matter what you use or what tool you use, as long as you have one adjustment that darkens your subject and one adjustment that brightens your subject. So let's go down to our adjustment layers and create a curves layer. And let's go ahead and drag this curve up to brighten our image. This will be our dodge layer, so let's name that dodge respectively. Hit enter. Click on the thumbnail of your dodge layer, Control or Command I to invert it. Next, we're gonna create a burn layer, so curves, drag this down, name this burn. Click on the thumbnail of that layer, Control or Command I to invert it. Let's go ahead and select both of these layers and group them together. This will be our dodge and burn. So it's a good idea to have a mask of your subject that you can apply to your dodge and burn layer. That way you're not dodging and burning outside of your subject. In this case, I already have that, and that is of course of my circle. So holding Alt or Option on your keyboard, click and drag on that mask up to your group of the dodge and burn. And so now you have your dodge and burn layers masked out to just your subject. So in this case, we're starting from a blank canvas, so we need to imagine where the light is coming from. So I just drew a little light source up here. Make sure you have selected a large, soft, round brush, and let's just set the flow to around 15 to 20%. So now we want to paint with white on our layer mask wherever we imagine the light is hitting our sphere. And that looks pretty good right there. Now click on the thumbnail of your burn layer. Again, make sure you have white selected and just paint in areas where you think the light is not going to be hitting. So we're painting in the shadows of this subject. This is a lot easier if you have a tablet and a pen. This can be done with the mouse, but you're just gonna have to be a bit more careful. And just like that, with a few clicks, we have made this 2D circle appear to be a 3D sphere. So how do we apply these techniques to photos of people? Obviously, people are not circles, they are more complex shapes. It's best to think of the areas on your subject as primary, secondary, and tertiary levels. That is first, second, and third levels of detail on your subject. So I have a wide shot of my subject here, and I have circled the primary levels of detail where I'm going to be dodging and burning. On these primary areas, you want to imagine circles or spheres. It does not have to be a perfect circle by any means. It just kind of helps you imagine where you're going to be painting. So here I have the head, the chest, the different sections of the arms, and the different sections of the legs. And to dodge and burn, you want to imagine the light source. In this case, the light is coming from the camera right and above and hitting the subject. If you have multiple lights hitting your subject from different angles, just try and imagine the key light. That is the main light that is hitting your subject for dodging and burning. So for each one of these circles that I have drawn on my subject, again, these are the primary levels of detail, I want to do the same principle that we applied to this circle. So imagine each one of these areas being a flat shaded circle, and we want it to appear three-dimensional, taking in account of the direction of the light. If you do that properly, you're gonna have something like this. It's very subtle, but it does make your subject pop. Now I said primary, secondary, and tertiary. Well, where is the secondary? When you have a wide shot like this, it is not necessary to go into secondary levels of detail since you're probably not going to see it. Let's go to another photo. So here I have a photo that's a little bit closer up. This is more of a medium to a medium close shot of my subject. These are the primary areas of detail, and these right here in green are the secondary levels of detail. Now this is just a quick mock-up. It could be a little bit different for every photo, but in this case on my subject, it is parts of the hair, the forehead, the cheeks. It could be the chin, maybe the top of the hand and the neck. These are the most common areas of secondary levels of detail on your subject. So again, if we use the same principles that we learned in here, and apply that to each individual circle on our subject, we will have a dodge and burn that makes our subject pop. And as you can see here, I forgot to mention this in the primary example, I have my subject masked out on the dodge and burn group, and these are the individual dodge and burn masks. So now what about tertiary levels of detail? So we have the primary, which I mentioned before, The secondary, again, the cheeks, parts of the hair, the chin, the neck. And then tertiary would be, again, smaller areas of detail. Now, these are even smaller areas that you can focus on that generally are not seen unless you're up close into your photograph. And that is areas like the eyes, the bridge of the nose, parts of the lip, maybe even some of the fingers. And if you really wanted to, you could even do other smaller areas of the clothing, like the petals of these leaves in my subject's hair. And again, if you take into account the techniques that I used on turning a circle to a sphere and apply that to all the individual circles drawn on your subject, you will have a clean and pleasing looking dodging and burn. Now, of course, the benefit of having your dodge and burn layers in a group is you can very easily reduce the opacity of that group in case it is a little too strong. So you can bring all the way back down to 0 and then just kind of bring it up and stop at wherever you think it starts to look good. And guys, if you want to save yourselves a few clicks, I've created an action. It's nothing spectacular or unique in any way, but to just demonstrate it, just click on your subject layer, go to your actions, select the dodge and burn action, and just run it. And this is it. It just creates a dodge and burn group with a dodge and burn layer inside of it. Nothing spectacular, nothing amazing, but it does just save you a few clicks and a couple of seconds of work. So guys, I hope this helped you. If you like this video, maybe give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments at all, let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, consider subscribing. And until next time, stay creative.